Oh, there's a guy! Get him!
We're just bullet shields for Jason.
Jason, get him!
Yeah, that definitely like.
I hit him twice. He had hit me once. I got him!
Genius! What is going on?
I'm reloading! We live! TGY on top!
It's been quite a bit since I've played Criminality, and even longer since I've talked about it. In short, and to no one's surprise, I absolutely do not enjoy modern day Criminality. And I feel like it's completely lost its identity. And originally, I got flack for that opinion of hating Criminality, especially around V2 releasing, considering at this time there was a drought of updates and one finally released, but I thought it was insanely underwhelming. But over time, people started to see that I was right about the game. And nowadays, all the Criminality YouTubers you used to watch no longer make content on Criminality, or have quit content creation altogether. The game's fall off is undeniable, and while the player count of the game still remains high, the respect it once had from its fans and YouTubers has dropped significantly. Why did this happen? How did this game lose what made it special? Why does it feel so dead despite the player count being so high? Why did all these YouTubers quit the game? Well, I'm here to answer that today. Change. And in the case of Criminality, it was bad change. If you guys saw Criminality back in 1.0 to 1.2, you'd think it was almost an entirely different game, especially compared to how it is now. And I'm not saying the game fell off right after 1.2, because that's just not true. Everything from 1.3 and 1.6 had its flaws, but was still consistently enjoyable for the most part. But something I noticed that changed dramatically compared to now is the atmosphere. Criminality originally had a semi-serious tone and atmosphere. It was supposed to feel like a crime-ridden city, so rampant with homicides and killings that it was blocked off from the rest of the world. And the menu theme and the game's overall atmosphere contributed to that. And when it comes to gameplay, it was a competitive, skill-based, open-world PvP game that had a few goofy things that made it a little bit more memorable, like Vibe Check or Illegal Pizza. Those locations definitely don't enforce a serious tone, but that's what made it stand out. And it contrasted well with the normally serious environment. And the menu theme especially nailed the feeling it was going for. Take a listen. As the game got updated to 2.0 though, the game's overall atmosphere and tone completely shifted, going from a serious, competitive open-world PvP game to a social simulator where you show off your cool anime skins you spent $80 gambling for. And I mean, just listen to this menu theme from the most recent Christmas event. The game doesn't even take itself seriously anymore. And I know there have been other events in this game, like Christmas and Halloween, but they still took themselves pretty seriously, especially compared to now. But I hope you guys are starting to see where I'm coming from. We as people originally played Criminality for its skill-based PvP and its atmosphere, and because it was fun. But when you look at the game now, it's no longer what we originally played the game for. The game didn't necessarily just get worse, but over time, it alienated its original fan base. Well, actually, a few things did get objectively worse. This whole skin system that the game does is very disgusting and very predatory, and is completely against the rules on Roblox because the limited rarity does not show the odds of dropping, which isn't allowed on Roblox, and is literally illegal in some countries. But no YouTuber covers that because Roblox YouTubers never like to address problems that can actually be fixed. And over time, I mean, the developers just started treating us worse. Originally, Criminality had a ton of communication from RVVZ, telling us his thought process between changes and balancing, and what his vision for the game would be. And nowadays, RVVZ doesn't even work on the game, and his dev team is almost completely radio silent, with the developers regularly focusing on exclusive content that only they get to use against their fanbase, like RCU weapons, or they just get into arguments with trolls on the Discord, and focusing completely on microtransactions. And finally, the one thing that definitely got worse over time was the balance. Criminality originally was a very well-balanced game. Melees and guns were 50-50 when it came to their usefulness against each other. Every weapon felt like it had a purpose, and it was unique and was useful in their own special ways. While now, there are several weapons that are completely underutilized and overall completely trash. But I think the straw that finally broke the camel's back was Criminality V2. I made 2 videos on this update, and I got a ton of shit originally for the first video, even getting the attention of someone with 20,000 more subs than me at the time to fight my criticisms. People really believed that this update would save the game and be the new best era of Criminality, but I saw right through this update. It was extremely lacking in content, adding basically nothing new. It didn't change anything besides visuals. It ruined the recoil for a 3rd time, and felt like an excuse to add an extremely predatory gambling system to a game that definitely didn't need that. It even had skins that didn't disclose their rarity that had in-game bonuses, like bonus damage, faster reload, bigger blast radius, and other unfair bullshit. And I want to make this clear before people tell me the advantage is not that big. I do not give a shit how small the advantage is. It shows a complete lack of integrity on the developer's end, because they know their fanbase will spend thousands of real dollars to get these skins, even if the advantage is very slight. And a lot of people told me I was wrong about this update, and I'm overreacting, and this update is amazing. Well, all the YouTubers who made content around this time literally quit because of V2. V2 was the turning point for almost everyone that played the game originally, and I bet the only reason some of these people stuck around was because they make tons of money making Criminality content. Because the people who just enjoyed making great videos for the game have all disappeared. Def, Bluetoons, Returner, War Marble for a short period, Corden, Pies for a short period. I mean, damn, am I missing anybody? Was the update so amazing that the entirety of its original YouTuber base left the game? The whole game's YouTuber base quit, and I'm being told by very wrong and very stupid people that this update did not ruin the game. Well, here's a reality check. It did. And it hasn't really recovered since. I mean, War Marble and Pies still make videos now, but if I was making good money off this game, I would probably too. This update was labeled as the biggest and best update to ever be added, and it just wasn't. If it was, all these YouTubers wouldn't have quit. And 1.3 was bigger than this update objectively in every aspect. It added new models to the weapons. 8 new weapons. 8. Redid the entirety of the map while expanding it, as well as rebalanced most of the weapons, redid the entire armor system, tons of bug fixes and quality of life changes. Like, these were the updates we used to get in 6 months with less developers, less developer funding, and a smaller community. But it had a developer that had a vision for a game that would actually be finished at some point. Now we waited 6 months for them to add skins and new animations and 2 weapons, and the game is still in beta. If that isn't an objective drop in quality, I don't know what is. And it really was the final straw, because everyone that played around this era quit when V2 came out, and they never came back. Blackout has had a very rocky launch so far. When it originally came out, I loved almost every aspect of it, but as the updates rolled out, they came with massive problems and people just learned how to make this game miserable for everyone trying to play. Like the operator armor, one of the dumbest things I have ever seen added to a PvP game ever, and that is not an exaggeration. An armor that gives you an 85% damage reduction, increases your movement speed, allows you to use 2 heavy weapons plus meds, and has no counters that are even remotely obtainable through normal methods. And when you pair all this up with people teaming with someone in the operator armor, and even stacking multiple operator armors, there is basically no killing him. Unless you get very lucky with finding a railgun, or he kills himself out of guilt. I know the scars are both good weapons against them, but they made 2 weapons that were good against him 5 ranks above the maximum rank before the update, and you are not allowed to pre-unlock them either. And this game's balance is just terrible. Majority of the lower tier weapons and mid tier weapons are useless. And the meta is so stale. It's the same 4 weapons using third person hipfire, which is not skillful and it's not fun. You are punished so hard for trying to use your skills and brain in this game right now. Like, I thought originally when I bought the game that it'd be about controlling recoil with first person and stuff, but there's so much bullet spread and camera shake, you just can't spray in first person. It's much easier to just run at somebody and use third person hipfire. And this game somehow has a heavier mass teaming problem than Criminality has ever had. People in Blackout are much tankier, and almost every group that plays this game is always above the team limit. The moderators are too lazy, I guess, to enforce an actual mass teaming policy, but because they believe you can't do that, even though there are plenty of games that do enforce a team limit, like Rust and APOC 2 do not have these massive teaming issues where they go above the team limit, so I'm not really sure why they can't enforce it, but it's whatever, I guess. And I hope they can fix these things, because besides that, this game is almost perfect, and if these problems are addressed correctly, I genuinely believe Blackout could be the best game ever made on Roblox. But for now, Blackout has left me quite disappointed with its launch, but I want to hope it gets better because there's so much potential here. The quests are awesome. There are so many PvE elements, and the mechanics you can do with the NPCs, you know, all this shit is insanely cool that doesn't involve PvP. But when your main way to play is about PvP and that sucks, it's really hard to enjoy the game. But once again, I hope that they can fix these things and make a turnaround, because this game wholeheartedly deserves to beat Criminality. It's an improvement in almost every aspect. That was a mouthful. If you watched till the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you again someday.